Then
coming up.
4,000 rand left. Then I took the 4,000 rand which was left. I bought back his car in my name.
Oh, as you're talking, I'm having goosebumps, Doc.
What is it?
Perfect.
What is it that makes you tick? At the moment, as I'm speaking to you, we are fully booked for the next 6-7 months.
Welcome to Marketplace with Charles Ngobeni.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
Africa, nakupenda sana go. You know, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear that song, you are at the African Experience with me, Dr. Ngobeni. Surely, nakupenda sana Africa. We love our continent, we love our people, we love our show. Thank you so much for always joining us. You know, I'm not alone. I'm always with my beautiful co-host, Mandla Aventina Wakamabunda. Mandla, good evening, my sister.
Good evening, Doc, and it's always a pleasure to join you. Today you are glowing, Doc. Hey, you are so glowing. You look beautiful. But anyway, I cannot wait for today's show, full of inspiration. You know what? We need to stand up and do things for ourselves. So I hope everyone is eager and keen, just like I am, to learn some more. Thank you, Doc.
Yes, you know, actually on my calendar, this hour has become the most, exciting time that I look forward to, because we always talk to legends, we always talk to people who inspire us. And yes, I love this hour. This is the hour to really share the African experience. Tonight, we have yet another legend. I like it because we don't disappoint, in this show. We have none other than Mr. Charles Ngobeni. Mr. Charles Ngobeni, welcome to the African Experience and good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Clement. Good evening to all the Bold Moves listeners. I am delighted to be part of this program, and I hope I'm going to learn more. And I hope I'm the one who's going to benefit more than any other person.
Wow, thank you so much. You know, the tables are turning. I remember sometimes back, you were sitting on the other side and we're on TV. You had, and I know you still have it, the platform called the Marketplace. I remember
Marketplace with Charles.
Yes, Marketplace with Charles, and you invited me twice, and I was sitting there. But today, I'm the one. We are the ones who are actually pulling the shots here. Thank you so much. We never take this time lightly. We know you are such a busy man. Just to spare an hour of your time to spend with us, we really appreciate it. Well, I know our listeners are already waiting, patiently, to hear what this person is all about. Who is Mr. Charles Ngobeni in a nutshell?
Mr. Charles Ngobeni is a pastor by calling. He's a businessman by interest. He's an author by grace, an author of 3 great books. He's a marketplace host by experience. He's fighting poverty by creating kingdom billionaires. He believes in wealth transfer. That's how I can package him if I were to introduce him to a stranger.
Wow.
And he's a family man, most important.
Yes. Mandla.
Yeah, no, this is, I'm telling you, I'm sitting at the edge of my chair. I cannot wait really to listen to this wealth of information. In particularly, I like wealth transfer. He's in the business of creating billionaires. I mean, that is reminding me of kingdom mindset. You know, this is beautiful. And tell us what made you, there's always what we call in the show a godly idea. So what inspired you to go this route?
I think I had inspiration from different people. The first one that I would like to mention, perhaps it's my upbringing. You know, where you grew up molds you. My parents were business people. My uncle was a businessman. Every school holiday, I would visit my uncle Weeby, and I would stay with him there for the entire school holidays. Come Easter's, June, December, I'll be there, and I'll be learning the skills. I've learned to make mistakes with his money in such a way that when I started my own business, I could not even break my own glasses because I learned the skills by breaking somebody else's glasses. The next person who inspired me, perhaps I should say, is my pastor, Philip Shungwan Ngiani. He's a great man of God who changed many of us. I am who I am today through his inspiration. And the next person that I'll say, it's Mr. Thaisi, Churchill Thaisi. I've learned a lot from him. I visited him one time. They celebrated his birthday, and I sneaked in, and I learned great wisdom when it came to business. These three people are the people who inspired me to be in business. But again, I realized that I was born poor. And I realized that if you're born in poverty-stricken home, poverty is not born in you. If you are born in a Zozo is not born in you. I realized that I can change. I can be somebody. So the desire to be somebody in life, that inspired change in me. That inspired me to go for some more.
Wow, I love it. I love it. You know, we always follow you on social media and you have, these beautiful quotes, and we're going to unpack, some of those quotes, like, poverty is not born in you and all that. But let's go back where it all started. You are one person who became a businessman, like you said, not because you inherited something from your parents, but you started. You started your journey as a high school teacher. Take us through there where you started and what were you teaching? Where did you study? And how was it like? Yep.
I didn't start as a high school teacher. I started when I was born. That's when I started my business. The first day that I was born.
Okay.
I realized that in life, sometimes we look for money to do business. And doing great business, let me assure you, in this time and age, you do not need money to do business. All you need is God-given creative ideas. God-given creative ideas. That's all you need. You don't need any money. When I was doing my Form 1, which grade is that nowadays? I can't remember, but that was Form 1.
Grade 8.
Grade 8. Yes. I borrowed a camera from one high school teacher. His name was Zero, and he's still Zero even today. Then he borrowed me his camera. I took his camera. I went to shoot out the pictures. I collected the deposit from the guys that I'll shoot pictures. I'll send it then to PO Box 66 Bergvlei, and after months, then they'll come back, and when they come back, developed, and then I give it to the owners, then they pay me the balance. 6 months later, on the line, I went to Mr. Zero, who was my high school teacher. I said, Zero, how much did you buy this camera for? He told me. I said, can I buy it from you at double the price? He said, no, I'll be very happy. I bought his camera from him with the profits that I made from his own camera.
Wow.
So I didn't mind paying double the price because that was not my money. I made that money out of his camera. Then the rest is history. Then I went and passed my matric, but I almost failed my matric, so I could not even do what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an engineer, but I didn't get a matric exemption. As a result, I crawled to TNT. I became a high school teacher there. I studied technical teaching. I went down to work again. And throughout my career, I've been innovative. I remember the other time when I was at TNT, I did not have food. I did not have money. So I went looking for a job in a dry clean near Bra Andrew. Then I went there. I said, Bra Andrew, I need a job. Bra Andrew said straight in my face, he said he does not have a job for me. Then I said, Bra Andrew, can I create a job for myself? He said, what can you do? I said, Bra Andrew, look, I have a driver's license. Every Saturday, I can come collect, take a buggy, walk the streets of Harankuwa, drive all over Harankuwa, Nibabele, and collect the dry clean. In the evening, then I wash it myself when the dry clean is closed and iron it. Sunday morning, wake up, go to church, and after church, take the dry clean and deliver it back to their owners.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what I did? I
Sure.
made that guy, Bra Andrew, a multi-millionaire.
Wow.
What did I have? Money? No. But I had a God-given creative idea. All I had was a driver's license. Perhaps what I can ask the viewers out there, what is it that you have in your hand that you can use? Look no further. If you're still looking for a loan from the bank to do business, you have started in a wrong footing. What is it that you have within your reach that you can use? And then
Wow.
later, I moved into a taxi business. And I'm still a taxi boss even today, and a pastor, like a contradiction. And I'm a chairperson of Guyana Town Taxi Operators, even this day. So you can call me a taxi boss, you can call me Mageza if you want. You can call me pastor, I'm everything. You know, the way in which I started the business is another story. You know,
Is that the one?
that's my first taxi. You know, when I bought my first taxi, it was in 1986, during my first year of teaching at high school. My second month, without the first salary, I went to buy that taxi, without a cent in my pocket. And you know how I bought it? I had a friend, Pastor Mongwe, who is late now. Then I asked Pastor Mongo to drive me to Zanini. Then we went there, and when we were in Zanini, I wanted to buy some spares to fix some of my skorokoros at home. Then, as I was buying those spares, Alani Motors, I saw that car, VW. I wanted it. I looked into the price. It was great. I looked into the deposit that I wanted. I realized I don't even have a cent. I haven't had my first salary, but all I had was my green book, no pass. You know. So I asked to speak to the owner of the garage. I asked them, who's the owner of the garage? They told me. Where is he? They showed me. Then I went straight into his office. I said, Manier, I need that Kumbi. He said, no, there's no problem. All you need your pay slip, you need your ID, you need 10,000 rand deposit. Did I have the 10,000 deposit? No. Did I have the pay slip? No. I said, no problem, because next month I'll get paid. Then I'll have my first pay slip. Can I bring it? He said, no problem, as long as I've got a 10,000 rand deposit. And I said, Manier, look, I don't have the 10,000 deposit. And we had gone to the garage using Mr. Mongwe, who's late now, car, which was Ford Leisure. And then I took the owner of the Lani Motors outside. I showed him that car, Ford Leisure. I said to him, if I trade this car, will it be sufficient now? He looked at it, checked it, and he said, you know what? This car is actually worth 14,000 rand. So if you trade it in, all I need is 10,000 for that car. You'll still be left with 4,000. Then I said to him, Menier, with the 4,000 rand which is left, am I able to buy back the Ford Leisure, knowing very well that is not mine? He said, no problem. You can buy it back. How much? He said, no, because I wouldn't have done anything to it. You'll get it at the same price, 14,000 rand. I said,
Wow.
Then I went to have some few discussions with Mr. Mongwe. You know what he did? Mr. Mongwe was good enough, good heart. He took his car. He made it a deposit for a Kumbi. So he took his car. They gave him 14,000 rand. Out of the 14,000, he took 10,000 to deposit the Kumbi in his own name. Then there was 4,000 rand left. Then I took the 4,000 rand which was left. I bought back his car in my name. So we went there with one car which was debt-free. We went back home with two cars that were owing. He went out driving the Kumbi. I went out driving his car. Come first, Robert, when we stopped, I jumped out of his car. I said, Manuel, bring back car. Then I jumped into the Kumbi. I went back to Guyana. The rest is history.
Wow. Oh my goodness. You know, Doc.
But God given creative ideas.
Yes. You know, as you're talking, I'm having goosebumps, Doc, because honestly, one thing that what Charles keep repeating is that God-given creative idea. I mean, in a country where we are sitting with more than 50% youth unemployment rate, I hope all our youth are sitting and are glued to their, whatever device they're using to listen to us, because this type of information, people pay thousands to get this inspiration and free education, and I cannot help but think about what you said about it depends, Kuri, how were you born, your background. I don't know if you remember when we used to walk the streets of Guyana from Miracle Valley shouting, champions are born in Christ and overcomers are born in the Lord. Yes. That is coming very, very clear in my head. And for me, it's not a coincidence. It's actually what it is. When you start right, you're most likely to finish right. Sure, Doc, I honestly, I'm blown away.
Yeah. I've been, my mouth was just like, wow. Because this is creative ideas, but also risk taking. It's like when they talk about thinking outside the box, I'm actually hearing thinking outside the box, in its totality. Who could have thought about that? Wow. Okay, then fast forward, you left teaching. My question would have been what inspired you to leave teaching? But, with this kind of thinking, there's no way that I could have imagined you staying, in teaching without really pursuing, the business ideas that you had. Yeah, take us through that journey when you left teaching. Now you have your first Kumbi, and what happened next?
My life is always transiting. Even now, as a businessman, I don't even know what tomorrow holds for me. I might be a politician, I might be the president of this country. Anything is possible. I allow change to take place every second of my life. I worked as a teacher at Risinga High School. But believe you me, I was not an ordinary teacher. Because one, I took the whole high school to another program. I think that was 1989. It used to be called La Puluja. And it was history when people saw the kids dancing La Puluja live on TV again. The following year, I took the whole school to Swaziland. I organized a trip, and Swaziland was still big by that time. And mind you, I'd never been to Swaziland myself. But I Googled Swaziland, I checked what were the points of interest. Then I came up, I organized a trip, I organized a passport for every student, and yet myself, I'd never been outside South Africa. Then I took them there. Years later, I went to start a Guyana Science Center with Dr. Pell. We started that Guyana Science Center, and I was an electronic teacher. I started electronics, teaching electronics in that school. And the syllabus which South Africa is currently using for electronics is the syllabus that I drew myself. That's why I'm saying I was not an ordinary teacher. Later on, years fast forward, I went to work at Alexander High School. And as a teacher at Alexander High School, it was after the new dispensation. I think I started Alexander in 1995. Alexander was in ruins. There were no walls. There was no laboratory. And I was supposed to teach science. And you know, during our time, the burette, all the equipment in the science laboratory, we knew them theoretically. We knew when you mix this and that, a blue smoke will come out. But it was all theory. We have never done that in practice. The first time that I've done that practice, it was in a laboratory in Alexander High School, the laboratory that was in rooms that I rebuilt myself without any financial assistance from the government. All I did, I went to the neighboring big pharmaceuticals, I made some proposals, they came, firstly they rebuilt the walls for me, then as an electrician, I rebuilt and reconstructed electricity in the whole school, then I rebuilt the laboratory, and the story was carried on SABC2, on DBL, and many, many other newspapers, and that was in 1995. That was history. That's why I said, even when I was a teacher, I don't believe I was an ordinary teacher. Then, during that time, I had also started businesses. You remember, I was doing taxis as a teacher. Then again, I had Mr. Rooster's chicken outlet, and I was still a teacher. When I moved to Joburg, I kept Mr. Rooster's, I kept my taxis, then I taught at Joburg. But here in Joburg, then I moved into Wimpy Restaurants, and I was the first black franchisee within the Wimpy group. When we went for meetings, it was only in Afrikaans, and I had to learn Afrikaans very quick. Otherwise, I wouldn't hear anything in those meetings. You know,
Sure.
so yeah, I've been transiting, and I'll keep on transiting. So I moved into business whilst I was still teaching. That is the reason why, if someone wants to resign tomorrow and go into business full time, I'll discourage them. I'll tell them, make money first. Myself, when I resigned from teaching and went full-time business, let me tell you, I had more than 1 million rand hard cash under my mattress.
Under mattress.
Yes. And my salary as a high school teacher by then, it was 65,000 rand a year. So with 1 million rand, I had estimated that with inflation, if my business does not do well, I can at least pay myself and live the same standard as a high school teacher for the next 10 years.
Wow.
So
Sure.
since then, for 10 years, I was living like a high school teacher, paying myself from that 1 million rand. And guess what I was doing with the money from taxes, money from Mr. Roosters, money from Wimpy? Now I was taking that money to the bank, investing it in some other assets. So my advice to people who wants to leave their job, I'll say, if you can do both, do both. And the only time when you can leave your secular job and be full-time in business, it is the time when you realize that your business has grown in such a way that it will never fail, in such a way that you're sure that it will sustain you. Because the challenge is that we leave our secular job, we go into business, and then we suffocate our businesses because we draw money out of it to live and continue. And remember, when you're in business, the pressure is high. When you're a high school teacher, you can take a taxi. But when you're a businessman, to catch a taxi, people will be surprised. They'll look at you funny. So the pressure is even high. The demand is high. When there's a function at home and they say each and everyone else contribute 100 rands, everyone is looking at you. They want to see whether you contribute 100 rands or 1,000 rand. Then the pressure is mounting as a businessman.
Okay. Yeah. Let me pick on that, because you are sharing the stories, you are giving advice. You are one kind of a person who want to transfer, this wealth. So you don't keep, this knowledge and information. And I think for me, that's something that makes you stand out, because a lot of business people, it's my code, but you are sharing and you even wrote about it. Tell us a bit about, one of the books. I think you have a book called, The Secret Code or something like that.
My first book is a book, the biography, Footprints of a Legend. And I stole that one from Pastor Strike. So he once invited me to the program, and then he featured me there. Then I realized, but I'm a legend. And on that note, Wimpy themselves, they gave me the highest form of honor, which is a legend. I am a Wimpy legend. So when I wrote that book, then I called it Footprints of a Legend, but it's a biography of my life, where I started from nothing, where I borrowed clothes to who I am today. My next book, which is Unlocking the Success Code, what I did, I Googled, I studied, I followed the most highly successful people. I wanted to find out, what is it that made them tick? I look into our churches back home, it's like a slump. You go into white people's churches, you sit nicely in a chair with air conditioned, big screens. I wanted to see, what is it that makes a white man tick? What is it that makes a black man suffer? What is it? I studied all these things. Then I realized as well that no, man, the black people will go to church from morning until evening, yet we do not have the material substance to show that we have been in the presence of God. And the white people go to church for 1 hour. If they are late, it's an hour and a half, yet they've got all the money in the world. Then, during my studies, I found the 12 traits that makes them tick. Then I said, no, I can't keep this to myself. Let me share it with the whole world. Then I documented in my book, Unlocking the Success Code, subtitle 12 Traits of the Highly Successful People. And then my
traits.
Love Matters. It's either you call it the letters of love or love does matter, but I'm talking my story.
Yeah.
When it comes to family and marriage, my desire is to make sure that people marry right. My desire is to scare the married people never ever to think of divorce. I will scare you to death when you read my book, To Divorce. And finally, if you are divorced, is to inspire hope, that there is still hope. You can still get married.
Doc, is to inspire hope. There's still hope, huh? So, this I cannot help but just be, mesmerized by the legend that we are having on our show today at the African Experience. I'm hoping everyone is learning as much as I am. And this is a very diverse individual. We're talking a pastor, we're talking Mageza, we are talking, a restaurateur, we are talking, a community builder, all of these things. And you can only marvel that, the first thing that he said about having God-given creative ideas, this is just that thing personified. That is what we see. And we thank you for that. Now, you spoke about businesses. I love business. I am trying to be a business person, and I'm very blown away about what you're saying. Take us through a value chain. What would you say a value chain of a startup looks like, and what advice would you give someone who's really considering going to that business route, besides the fact that they shouldn't leave their job as yet until they have enough money?
If I were to look into the value chain, firstly, I'll say find yourself. Who are you? What is your passion? If you can turn your passion into money, your job will be pleasurable.
I see.
What is your one thing? What is it that God has created you for? Noah was created for an ark. David was a king. Solomon, his one thing was wisdom. Oral Robert, we know him for healing. Reinhard Bonke is an evangelist. Muhammad Ali is a boxer. Maradona is a soccer star. If we talk Mandela, you say freedom. If I say Steve Jobs, you say Apple. If I say Bill Gates, you say Microsoft. If I say Dr. Hlami, what would you say?
Perfect. Perfect.
What is it that makes you tick?
Yeah.
What is it that can summarize you in one word?
Yeah.
If you can find yourself, find who you are. You see, with me now, you can put me on the road 24/7. I'll never sleep. I'll enjoy it. Put me in an office. Come back the following day, I'll be literally dead because I'm not an office man. And I can't do office work. So I found myself, I found my passion. Find yourself, what is it that you like doing? And then find what you can do for free. And then find a way to be paid for it.
Yeah.
So that you don't do it for free, but you make money for it, out of it.
Yeah.
But find what you can do for free. Then find some ways to leverage and make money out of your passion. That will be the starting point in the value chain.
Yes.
Once you have identified that, then you look around for opportunities. That's why I say to you, my life evolves all around, or every time. I could not remain a photographer. I could not remain a high school teacher. I could not remain a wimpy guru. I moved on to do some other businesses. Still, I could not remain like that. I went into pastoring. Still, I could not remain like that. You know, I keep on evolving. The more people I meet around the world, I realize that I can achieve. Recently, when I met with Bill Winston, Creflo Dollar, I look at the aeroplanes, I realize, no, man, going to America, I don't have to go economy, not even a business class. I can have my own private jet. So these people, they inspire me. That's why I always say to people, if you want to remain a fish, stay in a river. But if you want to be a shark, relocate to the ocean. Change the circles of your friends, because your environment, your friends, they mold you. If I can have a look at 10 of your friends, I can predict your future.
Wow. Mandla. Wow. You know, it's like, yeah.
Let Lassie,
I know. It is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. You know something, Mr. Ngobeni, you know, I've known you for many years and all that, but we have never had, you know, this deep, you know, conversation as we are having it now. And I'm so happy that you are spending, you know, this hour, and I'm looking at the time. We don't even go for break because, you know, it's like we are losing something. And I know this hour is just not enough. I was tempted to say, oh, those 12 trades, what are they? But I know it's a show for another day. I'm sure we're going to call you so that we unpack, these things again. One thing that stands out, people will tell you that, oh, you become a jack of all trades and master of none, focus on one thing and all that. But you are showing us that, for you, staying on one lane, it's not who you are. You actually diversify you are so versatile in your business approach. You diversify taxis and restaurants and which other businesses line or maybe pathway are you in, except for taxis and restaurants as we have had? I know you have many other businesses as well. Can you share a little bit more?
They normally say don't put your eggs in one basket.
Okay.
But then to answer your question, I also do Kuwisa Lodge.
Okay. Tourism.
Yeah. It's a lodge inside Mabalingwe Nature Reserve.
Okay.
And at the moment, as I'm speaking to you, we are fully booked for the next 6-7 months.
Wow.
We have even bookings for next year in March. Full.
Okay.
That's how busy we are. It's a small private lodge, very small, And when I started that lodge, I started it like it's a family home. I'll go there with my family, with my kids to go there and relax. But my kids started posting about it, bragging about it. Then they started going there with their friends. Then it became popular. Then some other people started, hey, we want to go there. How do we go there? I started by saying, okay, I've got the maid there. Just pay the maid, bless the maid. Later on, I realized, no, I'm fully booked for the whole month. Why don't I make it a B&B? Then I then converted it into a full B&B. And when you are seated there by the swimming pool, sometimes the elephants, the giraffes will come and drink water from the swimming pool whilst you are still swimming there. That's how beautiful it is.
Okay.
Other than that, and then I'm also doing art of skincare. I've done a bit of chemistry. I realized, no, man, if I mix these products, they can give me something. Then I started one of the few black-owned skincare named Art of Skincare. After Art of Skincare, what else did I do? Filling stations. Yes, I'm with Sasol Group. I do filling station with, that's a beautiful quiz. Look at that thing. It's glass from top to bottom, from both sides.
Is that the lodge?
That's a lodge. Yes.
Mandla, I think, maybe before the year end, we need to go and broadcast from that lodge.
Definitely.
That would be nice. You are able to open, all the doors are staking. You can stake them and stay like you are outside. All the bedrooms, they've got the outside shower, they've got inside shower, so you can shower whilst you're enjoying the beauty and watching the animals roaming around. You can sleep with all the doors stacked out as if your bed is in the middle of nowhere. I've got one of the rooms, I've got a tree inside there. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
This is so good. I'm quite keen to know, how do you block the noise around you? I mean we want everyone now to start thinking, how do I make my God-given talent to work for me? How do I monetize as quickly as possible? But in our society, especially I'll talk about coming from a community of lack, where poverty is a standard thing, where people do not amount to much because of the background and it's acceptable. How do you block out the noise, that voice that says to you, no, you can't, Pelawena, you are coming from poverty, Pelawena, you're coming from a single parent, Pelawena, blah, 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 you were not smart at school. How do you block it all out and focus on what you need to do?
Before I come to that, let me say some other businesses that I've done. I think I've mentioned some few. I've done a bit of mining as well. I've done a bit of farming. I'm a real farmer and a guru when it comes to farming, and many, many more others. But then, how do I block the noise? I think, one, I'm a religious person. very, very religious. I spend at least 2 hours every morning in prayer. So I don't just wake up and read the Bible. Reading the Bible is something else. But I need to spend minimum 2 hours every day in prayer. And that helps me a lot. Second to that, I choose my friends wisely. The other time when my kids celebrated my 50th, then they wanted to somebody who can speak representing a friend. They searched, they could not even find one. Because I'm very private. I focus in what I do. You know, sometimes you spend a lot of hours with friends. You stay on TikTok, you stay on Instagram. After 6-7 hours, you ask yourself a simple question: what is it that you benefited? You realize that absolutely nothing. So I choose my friends wisely. They must inspire me. They must take me and move to the next level. And by the minute that I have outgrown the circle of my friends, then it's time for me to relocate to the higher level and have some more highly influential friends and who will uplift me and grow to their level. Once I reach their level, I may not be able to outgrow them. Then I must move from that circle to another level again. There must be a perpetual growth. So
Wow.
I don't befriend anybody, everybody. I choose them wisely.
Okay. Now it takes me to, having listened to what you have said so far, I begin to understand a little bit why you chose the theme for tonight. The theme that you chose is the footprints of the legend, my journey nuggets towards your first million. I'll still have to ask you, why did you choose that? I kind of, picked a little bit, but I want to hear it from you. Why did you choose the theme and what does it mean for you?
I believe that my story can inspire someone else out there. Hence my program, Marketplace with Charles. Marketplace with Charles, I invite people like yourself and any other highly motivational people who can come, then I interview them as well, so that I extract the wisdom out of them. My passion is to inspire people in life now. That's my the way of giving back to the community. So I take from me, I also take and learn from others, then I put it out there for people to learn out of it. If someone like me, when I started as a teacher, for the first 6 months, I could not afford to buy my own clothes. And I borrowed my clothes from a friend of mine, David Ndambi, who is a health inspector. And at least as a health inspector, he was getting paid. So when I went to start teaching, because my shoes were torn, my clothes were torn, he borrowed me his clothes for 6 full months. That's where I started. Then I realized if I can move from a borrowed clothes to a place where I can buy clothes for others, I think my story can inspire someone out there. So
Absolutely.
I moved from nothing to I moved from where I had nothing to where I've seen some few millions passing through my hands, perhaps even some few billions. I'm waiting to see some few trillions passing through my hands.
Wow.
So I realized if I can do it, even someone else can do it there. The only thing that I have to do is to share my secret of success. I don't have to hide it. Because if I share my secret of success, perhaps if someone do what I have done, they can achieve what I've achieved.
Wow, Doc, it's very inspiring, and for the first time ever, in the Life of Our African Experience show. It's the first time we hit the 44-minute mark without going for an ad break and without even acknowledging our loyal listeners. That's how glued to the screen we are. We can't even afford to shift. And I think let's just make it one of its kind and just go without, because I still had
Absolutely.
a lot of questions that I still want to ask. So tell me, if people want to learn from you, I've heard a few platforms that you have. What platform do you have, or do you have a platform for mentorship? Are you open to that?
Well, I am open for mentorship, but mentorship is not cheap. It's very expensive. Yet I don't charge a cent. In my life, I hate driving. I don't have passion for driving. And the simple reason is because my mind is all over the place. And as I drive, my phone rings. I want to take the message. I want to write a short memo. As I drive, a thought comes through. And before I even forget it, I must pen it down. So for me to drive from here to Guyana, if I do it myself, it takes me literally 9 hours, because I'll be stopping and going, stop and go on the road, And I can't drive, I can't text whilst driving. So I must stop and text, stop and chat, stop and pen down. So I have a driver, a dedicated driver all the time. But the other time, Dr. Elijah Maswanganyi was going to Swaziland, and he was going to meet the Prime Minister and the King there. And I wanted to be connected to the Prime Minister and the King. You know what I did? I said, Doc, you're going to Swaziland? He said, yes. You're my mentor? He said, yes. I said, can I drive you to Swaziland? He was so excited. So for me to drive, it's a pain. But I had to drive Dr. Elijah to Swaziland, because on the way, for 7 full hours, he was talking to me and I was listening. I was soaking myself in his wisdom. When we're in Swaziland, we shared the same room. I spent a night with him. I learned from him. The following morning, when I was ready, guess what? I went to the restaurant first, because he was still busy with his prayers, morning devotions. Then I went to the restaurant. I said, okay, Doc, will you find me in the restaurant? I'll just have a cup of coffee whilst I'm waiting for you. And the Prime Minister was to join us for breakfast that morning. And I went there, I remember very well. I wanted scrambled eggs. They said, no, they don't do scrambled eggs here. I must go to another queue. I went to that other queue. They said, no, they don't do scrambled eggs there. I must go to that where I'm coming from. They moved me around. And it's a big hotel in Swaziland. Then I said, you know what, let me relax. Then I went down, I ordered myself cappuccino whilst I'm waiting for the Prime Minister and Dr. Elijah. I sat there. And now when Dr. Elijah came, he joined me, because the protocol dictates I must be there first, then Dr. Elijah, then the Prime Minister. We mustn't find the Prime Minister having seated down. So when the Prime Minister came, then we moved from our table to join the Prime Minister. And as we were just singing, talking, laughing with the Prime Minister, the very same people who would not give me scrambled eggs, they came running, wanted to give me scrambled eggs. So, but then I had to pay the price for mentorship. Connected to the King and the Prime Minister and many, many others. The other time I went to Namibia and served Apostle Haruna Goro. And the only reason why I went there is because I wanted to be connected to Bill Winston. And when we were there, I stayed with Bill Winston for the full 3 full days. I even had a 1-hour interview with him, which put my show on another level. But for me to connect to Bill Winston, I had to serve. You got to serve somebody.
I see.
Elevated. So mentorship, yes, I do. But it's costly, because you may have to drive me, perhaps. Perhaps you may have to sacrifice your comfort. There are different types of mentees. There are mentees who want you to, they come to you, they want you to do everything for them. That is very wrong. You show them how the business plan is done. They want you to do the business plan for them. It can't be right. You show them where NEF is, where SAICA is. They want you to complete the application form for their finances. It can't be right. I can show you, I can take you to Land Bank. I can tell you the types of loans which Land Bank gives. I can tell you who can give you money now, because even if you watch the TV today, look at the bank advertising for bond to buy houses. Then go there, they'll give you quicker. That tells you those guys have got money at that particular moment for that particular thing. Land Bank now, they've got blended finances, and that's what they're specializing in now. If you want to move into agriculture, you go to Land Bank, half of the money is a grant. You don't even have to pay it back. I can show you what the bank is, but I can't apply it. I can't do business. And you can't come to me, ask for an idea. Come with your idea. Then I will help you refine your own idea. If I can help your idea, I need it as well. I need more ideas. So and I don't want to steal your idea. I don't even want it. Have your own idea. Let me refine it.
Yeah.
So yes, that's mentorship. I don't want to spoon feed you. You must be available. You must be ready to sweat. You must be prepared to be mentored. Sometimes you may have to sacrifice your time because my time is so precious. I'm not easily available. So you may have to fit into my program. But then finally, in terms of mentorship, I am available in perhaps all forms of social media. You can follow me on Facebook. You can like me. I don't like the one, my personal one. I like the one that you follow me as Charles Ngobeni. I'm on TikTok. I think it's Charles _ Marketplace or Marketplace. Yeah, TikTok's Marketplace _ Charles. I'm on Instagram, Charles _ Ngobeni. All forms of social media, I'm there. My email address as well is easy, charles@artofskincare.co.za. It's easy to reach me. If you Google me, I'm everywhere. It's easy to reach me.
Wow. Mandla, this is a record. You know, we are actually breaking a record on this show, because I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the time. Already we're only left with 8 minutes. We didn't go for an ad break. We didn't even acknowledge people, because I'm like glued to the screen, and I'm like, no. Mr. Ngobeni, I know your time is so precious and all that. If we were to have a follow-up, session, I'm still looking at that book, those 12 codes, because we didn't really unpack them and all that. Would you humbly so, would you agree for us to have a follow-up session so that we really look at these things again? Because or maybe I should even ask, where can people get those books? If
Don't
somebody
forget
say
the
no.
love one.
And the love one, yes. At least that one will inspire us. It will give us hope. Where do we get the books from?
No, the books, you get them straight from me via the social media platform that I've already mentioned. You see, when you write a book, people have got different reasons why they write book. Others, they write books to make money out of it. And I've never seen any person making money out of the book. Money is not in the book. Money is on the activities around the book.
I see.
I can sell my book for 250 rands, but when I give you my book, I dish out my books as a business card. Because if I give you my business card, you can throw it. But if I give you my book with my number in it, you will never throw it. And when you are stuck and you want to inspire your workers at your workplace about one of the topics in my book, then perhaps you'll invite me. And when I come there, it's no longer 250 rand, which is the price of the book.
I see.
We're talking a few thousands now for an hour.
Wow.
So money is
I
not in the
s-
money is on
wow.
the activities around the book. So
You
yes,
know
you
what?
can get my book from all forms of social media that I've mentioned.
Okay. There's one thing that I'm picking here. One thing. You are such a multilateral thinker, so in every little thing, you see opportunities, not just one. You see a lot of opportunities. That is something that I'm taking away with me. Oh, Mandla, we have a long way to go, to really
Yeah.
sharpen, this. And you asked me a question because you were saying to yourself, you were mentioning people, when you think of this one, you think of that. But when you see, or maybe you see Dr. Flami, what do you see? I think that is my homework.
Yeah, to
I
do.
need to go and do
Yeah,
soul session. Yeah, Dr. Perfect, I guess.
yeah.
And it's a passion, and I'm making a living out of my passion, but I'm not anywhere near to breaking. Hey, but anyway, it's
Yeah.
it's a talk for another
It's
day.
quite
Wow.
interesting. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking we are definitely going to get at least four of your The Making of a Legend books for our 100 SMMEs that we are currently training, Doc. I think it will be a very good incentive. I already have some of my students that will benefit for this because I see the drive in them. So we'll definitely
Absolutely.
be in touch. But before we let you go, Mr. Ngobeni, please tell us, how do you relax, or do you even relax at all?
I think you
Hello?
were breaking there. I did not get
Yes,
it.
I'm saying, how do you even relax? I first said we're going to definitely order four of the Making of a
Yes.
Legend books for our learners. We are training 100 SMMEs, and I think they'll greatly benefit, more especially since they're in the food and beverage space as well. And secondly, I just want to know, you wear so many hats. I wonder, do you even relax?
I relax a lot. When I'm in the car driving somewhere and someone is on the steering, I can work. But at the same time, I can sleep. And whether I sleep on my bed or I sleep on the car, it's still the same sleep. So
Yeah.
you can see me in Joburg the whole day sweating. At night, instead of sleeping in my bed, I sleep in the car and someone will be driving me. The next thing you see me in Cape Town the following day, you say, how did you come here? So
Yeah.
I use those opportunities.
Well,
I do my own swimming pool, even at the lodge Abila Bela. I'm hands on, whatever I do. If you come to my
oh,
farming, sometimes you find me
good.
on the tractor,
Yeah.
plowing on my own. That's how I relax. But I do that as a form of relaxing. When I do my swimming pool on my own, when that water moves around, it's also therapeutic.
Mm,
I get inspiration by doing that. I love doing my own garden. That is another form of relaxing. I go to
okay.
gym. I stay inside the sauna. I love it. That is another form of you are relaxing whilst you are productive.
Yeah. Before the time really runs out, I know Ranzumbo, when we can see you, very interesting. Just one thing before we even, because the minute is really rushing. How do you stay humble? Because, the person who has achieved what you have achieved, people are untouchable. But I've known you remain so humble, you remain so reachable. How do you do that?
I serve.
Okay.
If you come to Miracle Valley, Agiani, you will find me serving. If you come to my restaurant, you will never see me in an office because money is not in the office. You will never see me on the till because money is not on the till. And the money that goes through the till, I can reconcile it at the end of the day. I'm at the back of the house flipping the beggars, making sure that they taste nice, making sure that the customers comes back, making sure that the experience of the customers is great. In fact, in my restaurants, at Wimpy Restaurant, we don't sell beggars, but we sell speed, experience, and great service. That's what we say. So if you come to the church where I go here in Johannesburg, I started at Rema. At Rema, I used to drive all the speakers every Sunday. Here at the Rivers Church, here in Sentin, I work in their coffee shop. If you come there, you will think it's my coffee shop, yet it's not mine, but I make coffees for the church attendants. I take the lowest form, and I realize that that keeps me humble. It reminds me that I am nothing but a mere human being.
Wow, wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where the hour went. It is, 7 o'clock. Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Charles Ngobeni. We can't even ask you about the parting shot because DJ Messi is looking at us now because we are just a few minutes over time. Thank you so much, and definitely we're gonna come back and we're gonna invite you again just to go through those books. I like that love one because even us the divorcees can actually get inspiration because there is hope. Mandla, there is something for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the African experience. You were with me, Dr. Hlami Ngwenya and Mandla Avitinawa Mabunda. Next week, same time, same place, we'll be meeting here. Thank you so much, Mr. Ngobeni. Thank you so much, and God bless.
It's always my pleasure.